right? I think that's probably our cue right there. So, um, I again, we've already gone over this, man. I've got so much respect for this guy. How long have you been in it now?
Man, I first got licensed in '08.
You
That's
know,
that's when I was at Dallas Preston Road. It was '08.
okay, okay. It feels like it's been longer than that. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I think the level of success. Now, again, I think for you, AK, you would agree that it's been consistent. Then all of a sudden,
Right.
right? I mean, it
Right.
wasn't like you blew up overnight, right?
Oh
It was
no,
not that, right? It's been you grinded, man. You grinded. And I love the fact that you stayed so consistent to who you are, right? And guys, before and again, you'll see folks will start jumping on now. It's about 10:31, 10:32. That's what you can expect. But before we really get started, I told Steve yesterday, I love the fact when you jumped into this, I mean, you were a poker player, right? You were
yeah.
playing all these games online, and and winning enough money to, I think, to cover your bills, but
Right.
wanted so much more.
Right.
And I thought that was such an interesting entry into this business.
And it's to poker just like with advertising marketing, because we're, as real estate agents and real estate experts, we're also marketers, right? Like we don't have any business unless we can generate leads, right? So when you look at the two parallels, they're both about psychology and math. You have to know your numbers. You got to know what you're putting in versus what you're getting out. And you have to be able to connect with people. You have to be able to read your audience, right? So I think our parallel was great to kind of get into this stuff. And when we used to office next to each other, man, like I know we had some good times and some friendly competitions and stuff, but it's kind of crazy because I've always kind of thought outside the box.
Yes.
Right? I don't consider myself a traditional real estate agent because I don't like to door knock. I don't like to cold call. I don't do any of that stuff, right? To me, it's about providing content and providing information that people need, which attracts them to me, right? And the crazy thing is, everybody that's on this call today, right? We could have the exact same message, but someone's going to connect to you a lot differently than they're going to connect to me. So the people that are going to want to work with me won't want to work with you. People that want to work with you won't want to work with me. And every single person on this call is that individual because you just connect. And you can't fake that stuff on video, right? Because we're not Oscar-winning actors, man, right? So it's like we are who we are, and it shows when we do video. And that's why I think video is such a powerful platform, okay? And that's why I kind of wanted to get into this stuff is YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of that stuff. It's great because you can repurpose a lot of content as well. But at the same time, you have to pick one or two lanes and you just have to accelerate and you do well. So my main focus has always been YouTube. I'm finally starting to get into a little bit of TikTok, a little bit of Instagram. I've been playing around with some of that stuff. And we can get into this a little bit later. But when it comes to the main YouTube stuff, right? One of the reasons why I feel like it's so powerful and why I feel everybody needs to be doing this, and if you're not, man, please just get into it. And don't worry about the way you look or sound or anything on camera. It'll get better, okay? And no one cares. So YouTube is the second largest search engine that's owned by the #1 search engine, right? Google. So one of the great benefits of putting stuff out on YouTube in long form content is a lot of it can be evergreen. A lot of it you can put out a video today and you could be getting leads from it for years to come, okay? Like I've got this one video that's about moving to Dallas. I put it out 3 years ago, okay? In 3 years, it's accumulated, I think around like 37,000 views or something, right? But even today, we're still getting leads from that video that was put out 3 years ago. So, when people say that, hey, I don't have time for video and I don't, I just can't fit it into my schedule. Well, if you can make time for cold calling, if you can take time to do open houses, why can this not be considered as a form of prospecting? Right? So I think that's why it's super important to focus and actually just time block for it and make it a priority. Just like, I think a lot of the real estate coaches, they always like put in, right? You got to prospect 2 hours a day. You have to prospect 2 hours a day, right? Well, if you take 2 hours each day, you take 2 hours of coming up with content ideas. You come up with 2 hours to script out your stuff, 2 hours to record, right? And when you take those 2 hours to record, once you start practicing, in 2 hours, you can probably knock out 4 videos, okay? Because you have everything planned out and you're just recording, you're batch recording, right? And then if you're consistently putting out one video a week, and consistency is key in this stuff, okay? And I'll get into why as well. When you're consistently putting out videos, guess what? Those 4 videos, that's 1 month's worth of content. You still have time to service your customers. You still have time to do other networking stuff that you're doing. So this just needs to be a priority that in a few hours of work each month, you can knock out a month's worth of content, okay? And the reason why consistency is such a key in success on YouTube, it's because YouTube needs to know watching your videos. So when you're putting out videos about, house tours or this or that, don't send it to all your realtor friends. That's not your audience. Okay, YouTube will figure out who your audience is as your videos start getting some traction. So yeah, post it on your Facebook, post it on other places where there are home buyers, right? So as YouTube understands who your target audience is, it'll start pushing out your content to others. So if like 90% of your subscribers are your realtor buddies, guess what? YouTube thinks your content is made for realtors, and they're going to start pushing your content out to other realtors in other states. You don't want that to happen. You want to focus, and you want to come up with what your target audience is, and then start creating content based on that. Okay. So number 1, consistency, absolute key. Number 2, I've been coaching and mentoring a lot of people with this YouTube stuff. And that's basically my focus for this year, is to just help other realtors do what I'm doing. And one of the things that comes up a lot is all the expenses. Like, I need this camera, I need this lighting, all of this other stuff, right? And okay, so I'm gonna take my webcam off for a second. I'm gonna show you guys something, all right? Till this day, all right, here's my light, okay? $20 light from Amazon. And I'm actually still recording on my iPhone, okay? And I'm taking a vertical video recording of this session right now, because guess what? I'm gonna have my editing team chop it up into short form content that I'm gonna be able to put out for the next 2 to 3 weeks, right? So even till today, I don't have a fancy camera, I don't have fancy lighting. I still record on my iPhone, because guess what? Cell phone cameras are ridiculously good nowadays, right? And it has all the apps that I need too. Like for me, for instance, I'm not very good at just going off the cuff with stuff, unless if it's like talking about these kind of things. But if you're like, okay, let's talk about the pros and cons of living in Frisco, Texas, I have to memorize some stuff or whatever it is. And then I'm like, okay, I got to go back. There's a lot of editing needed. So what I do is I script out all my stuff. I put it on a teleprompter app on my phone. And over time, I've just gotten really good at reading what I'm doing. And it sounds like it's just natural. And that comes with practice, right? Just like going to the gym, man. You can't go to the first day and expect to lift 200 pounds. Not going to happen. You got to put in your reps. Okay. So don't worry about, you don't know what to talk about. You can always script it out, and there are apps and a lot of tools for that. You don't need fancy equipment. You can use your phone. You just need decent lighting. And it took me a while to figure out my lighting situation, because I wear glasses, because light used to always reflect on my glasses. But what I figured out was I can bounce the light off of the wall, and boom, no glare on my glasses, right? So you just have to keep learning and creating, and that's how you're going to get better. And the crazy thing about some of this stuff is, in the beginning when I started my YouTube channel in 2019. Okay, so it's been a few years now. And with that, some of the older stuff that I made, now that I have an editing team, now I'm trying to get more into the TikToks and the YouTube shorts and the short form stuff. I'm like, okay, go through my channel, start turning all of my videos into short form clips. And my editor comes back to me and goes, we can't use any of your old stuff, because you're completely different on camera now than you were 4 years ago. So we can't put that out because it's crap. I'm like, okay. I'm like, understandable. That's a compliment in a way that I've gotten better over time. And that's how you're going to get, but you just have to put those videos out, right? And it's like one of my favorite things said by Mr. Beast. I don't know if you guys know who Mr. Beast is. He's like the biggest YouTuber on the planet. Okay. And his thing is, he always says, knock out your first 100 videos as soon as you can, because each video you're slowly going to get better. And your first video is going to be absolute trash, but you'll see the difference between your #1 video and the 100th video. So the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. And this is also where consistency comes into play. Is when I started the YouTube channel, I was putting out videos every week, right? And no results. My views, 2 views, 3 views, 0 views, right? Like I wasn't but it took a while to build up. I closed my first deal like 7 months in after putting out my first video. But during those 7 months, people were still reaching out. They were still in the pipeline. And what do we do as realtors? Our thing is we need to build our pipeline, right? Without that, if you just work on one transaction at a time, guess what? When that's done, it's going to take you another few months to find someone else. So you have to build out that pipeline. And that's what YouTube does for real estate agents, is that it consistently gives you a flow of warm and hot leads. Now people, when I get a message on YouTube, it's not one of those things that, hey, I just need some. Now it's like, hey, we're looking to move into the Dallas area. This is our budget. Do you have time to help us? Right? There's a huge mind shift that happens when you've got people waiting to work with you instead of you chasing clients. And that's where giving and going out and giving all of this information about the local areas and neighborhoods and things like that, it's so beneficial because you don't know who's watching and you don't know how long they've been watching, right? Like I had this one client just recently who had been watching my videos for 6 months, like while they were still living in Dubai. Okay. And when they landed here, when they were in their corporate housing, they're like, hey, we just moved here. We've been watching your videos for 6 months. Can you please help us buy a house? So guess what? So much of our time goes into follow-ups as realtors, right? We're just following up with everyone that, we're prospecting and stuff like that. My videos were prospecting for me for 6 months and I didn't even know about it. And that's a total game changer when it comes to this stuff, right? And now let's get into a little bit of, okay, this is good. Now, if you wanted to start the YouTube stuff, right? The biggest mistake that I see a lot of agents making that just get started in this is they don't know who their target audience is. You'll see one real estate video, you'll see one barbecue video, you'll see one real estate video, you'll see them shopping for groceries, you'll see one real estate video, and you'll see them at a sports event with their kids, right? If that's what you want to do, start up 2 channels, one like a vlog, one that's focused on real estate. Because again, if you're putting out that kind of random content, YouTube does not understand who your target audience is, okay? And this is where your subscribers and your non-subscribers come into play, okay? I am totally into analytics because I like to know what my videos are doing, where they're successful and where they're not, right? People also get very caught up in, oh, I don't have many subscribers. It doesn't matter. 88% of my views come from non-subscribers. Only 12% of my views come from subscribers. So what does that mean? There's a lot more people watching my videos that aren't subscribed to my channel, and I'm perfectly fine with that, right? As long as someone's watching, because you never know who's watching, right? So with that, don't let the subscriber count kind of get into your head. Just consistently put out content that you feel is valuable to your audience, because that's the second thing that I see a lot of agents make mistakes on, is they make content that they feel like making, okay, or they want to make because it interests them, okay? You have to come that servant mentality, like we're here to serve our clients, right? Make videos about what they want. What would they want to know, right? And it's not stuff about, oh, this is what an title escrow is, or this is how the land survey works. Yeah, get to that point when you have that audience, okay? But right now, not a lot of people are looking for that stuff. People are looking for information like, hey, what are the top schools in Dallas? What are the top schools in Richardson, right? Like which are the best like gated communities in Frisco? Like there's specific things people are actually looking for. And there are tools, like there's keywords everywhere that you could use, okay? There's vidIQ. There's a lot of other tools that you can use to see what people are actually searching for and then base your content off of that, okay? And then the other thing that comes up is and this is another mistake that I see a lot of people making, is they'll come up with their video first, and then once they've recorded all of their content, then they're going to be like, okay, what should I title this? What should the thumbnail look like? And then they'll post it. I'm like, no, reverse engineer that stuff. Because when people are searching or they're browsing through YouTube, what do they see first? They don't see your video. They see your title and your thumbnail. That's what gets them to click on your video. Okay. So come up with the exact title first, then the thumbnail to see, okay, that they work together, and don't put the exact thing that's on your title on your thumbnail. People already have that information from the title. The thumbnail is to pique curiosity and to get them to click on your video because they want to learn more. And that's where the content of your video comes in. And that's when they're actually going to watch your video. So why would you create the video first and then come up with those things, right? So you need to have a step-by-step process of how to execute this production plan, okay? Then the other thing, and I know we're already like 16 minutes in, man, I had no idea this is kind of going quickly.
See, again, that's how you roll, dog. Let's go. Let's go.
So, and then the other thing is to listen to your audience. You know, a lot of people are like, oh my God, I don't know what to make my next video about. Go through your comments. People have commented on your videos because people love to talk and they want to be heard, right? Listen to their comments and then make videos about that stuff. Because guess what? Forget everybody else. At least that person wants that content. And they're going to know that, oh my God, this creator listened to me and they're doing this, right? So it's like, and I've done that with a lot of my real estate investment videos. Like I put out a lot of videos about different neighborhoods and all of that kind of stuff. And sometimes people be like, hey, can you do this particular neighborhood in this city? I'll be like, all right, cool. This person wants to know about it. Instead of me reaching out to them and be like, hey, let's get on a phone call, let's talk about it, all of that other stuff, right? Why don't I just create a video? Because eventually other people will want to know the same thing. So I'm hitting up multiple people with the same answer. And now the person who's a part of my audience, they feel heard. They feel like, okay, I care enough to listen to their feedback. And why wouldn't I? Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here, right? And now that same video will make an effect on this person, and it'll affect a lot of other people that might be interested in the same content. So listen to your audience for content ideas. It really, really helps. But yeah, I think I've gone through quite a bit in a short amount of time, but
no. We probably got 2 or 3 other things to touch on briefly. The video that resonated with so many people, 1.3, 1.4 million. What was it about? Was it about an area? What was specifically?
So that's actually, man, such a funny story. So that went viral on TikTok. I've never had a viral video yet. Okay. But I'm like, I'm learning how to use TikTok. So I'm like, I wanted to experiment a little bit. So with TikTok, one of the biggest things is viewer retention. And so same thing with YouTube, like how long are people watching, right? So the video that I made was basically, it was an infographic about what mortgage payments looked like 6 months ago compared to now because of the difference in interest rates, but also home prices coming down, but with higher interest rates now, right? So it was just an infographic. So I just did a green screen in the background through the app. And all I did was I looked at one number, I looked at the other number, and I looked at the screen. It was a 6-second video. Okay. It was a 6-second video. So it probably took me like less than 10 minutes to make. Okay. And the cool thing was, because it had numbers on it, people were trying to read it while the video was going on. So it took more than 6 seconds for people to digest that content. So TikTok's like, oh my God, a lot of people are watching this throughout, and they're watching it multiple times because they were still trying to figure out what was on it, right? So it was looping, right? So because it was looping, it had a lot of watch time. So it started pushing it out to more people. And because it was content that a lot of people don't agree on, right? Because numbers can vary from different markets. People started arguing with each other in the content, in the comment section, right? So that created more engagement. And it just blew up. And right now it's sitting at like 1.4 million views. And I think I put it out like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And and not just that. So here's the power of repurposing content, right? I took that same video, I put it on YouTube Shorts, I put it on Instagram Reels, and I put it on Facebook Reels. Okay. So 1.4 million views on TikTok. It got only like 400 views on Instagram Reels. Okay. But still 400 people, right? It got 4,000 views on YouTube Shorts, and it got 230,000 views on Facebook Reels. So you never know which platform is going to start pushing it out. And I created that video once, but I put it on 4 different platforms. Same thing. So repurpose everything that you make, because you can use it in multiple places because you don't know who's watching where.
Bro, that's powerful. That's powerful. I heard know your name, know your lane, and then accelerate. That I
Yep.
love. I love the visual on that, because for you, it's been YouTube. And now you're looking at other platforms. But I think you started there and you've honed that.
And that's still that's still my main focus. It's what I'm doing is, now that a lot of people's attention is on short form, I'm turning my long form YouTube stuff into short form. So it's not like I'm doing extra work. I'm just trying to get into a lot of these other places where people's attention is. And that's where we need to be, right? Before, billboards used to work because people's attention were there when they were driving. Now, when people are driving, they're looking more on their phone than the road. Right?
Super.
So you go where the attention is, and that's where the attention is.
Yes. Yes. My brother, I appreciate all the knowledge that you've dropped. And again, it's, this forum for me, it's brief, because everyone on this call, they're all, damn near everyone here is a mega producer. And we don't have a whole lot of time. And so for me, if you're going to give me a little bit of your time, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, then it needs to be valuable or you wouldn't be here. And the slogan is, I bring the meat every week. And my brother, I think you brought the meat and showing that it's not daunting. I think we put more on ourselves than we should. We have to be consistent, right? We have to put out the content that I think people, not what we want to hear, right? What they want to hear, and educate them. So that's what I've gotten from you.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. And I know some people are like asking about sharing my social media handles on here. If you don't mind, I'll put a link to one of my videos about how to get started on YouTube.
Yep.
Right?
Hook it up.
So if you guys want to watch that and just subscribe to my channel, because I started a new channel where I'm helping realtors do this stuff. And this way, I'm putting out content about the videos that are like working best for realtors, like what kind of videos you should be making and stuff like that. So give me just 1 second.
Absolutely.
And I will.
And Christina will probably add your phone number there, if she hasn't already. Because again, this guy, I'm telling you, I think it's probably not political, but we're family, right? AK has always said he's my brown brother. And
that's right, man.
You are definitely that, man.
You know it. You know it, man.
I love you, man. And I respect you more than anything. And so this guy is making it happen. And I think the message is that, we're not going to be AK Ali today. But if we start and we're consistent, there's the key. That, what, in 6 months, in a year or two, we will start to see measurable activity, I think, and we'll grow our audience. And like he said, we'll have people now lining up for us going, can you help me? Can you help me? Because I've been watching your stuff. I know that you know this area and we need help. That's different than us chasing people when we're now being chased. And that's a better position to be in. Right?
Absolutely. It's all about client attraction, right? Yeah. It's like you want to attract clients instead of chasing them, because it does get to a point where, we have enough knowledge to put out a lot of content from our various experiences as real estate agents. And even if you're new, right, there's still a lot of content you can put out even as a new agent, because people that are moving here from other cities don't know what a particular, neighborhood looks like. So if you just do a video tour, just driving around and just talk about that neighborhood and the schools that go, that are part of that neighborhood, that's valuable content for them. And that makes you the expert in that area. And we're always trying to be experts in our areas.
Yeah, bro. Again, I appreciate you sharing. Lunch next week. And guys, thank you for joining in. I again, if you didn't get something from that, that's a you problem.
That's right. That's right. I'm giving you guys a blueprint, man. You just need to execute.
That's exactly right. ESG, am I right? That's a you problem. Stevie, Crystal, and Sally, you know what I'm talking about. Chrissy, thank you so much for joining in, guys. Christina, I'm one of my regulars, guys. I appreciate each and every week you guys chiming in. Make sure next week you come in because we'll have someone who will definitely bring value. My brother here, you brought it today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Guys, let's go out and make the difference in someone's life. Someone needs our help. Someone needs our help. And it's our responsibility to go serve, right? We will see you guys again next week.
See you guys.